RG Parker, and it looks like I have an assistant today, my buddy Dale. Good boy. We're going to start today in staff pose. Now, staff pose isn't traditionally a pose that I've begun a lot of my asanas in, but I found that posture is definitely a point where I've had some issues in the past personally, just from like sports background, a lot of combat sports, so there's a lot of sort of bending at the lower back and really lifting from that position. So I've traditionally had bad posture. I'm almost immediately recognized by anybody that's participating like wrestling or jiu-jitsu as, you know, a wrestler. But enough of that. We're beginning in staff pose. I'm going to turn just for a visual, and it helps if you have the option for a wall to sit with your back to the wall to kind of focus in on sort of the pose itself. I don't necessarily have that today, but I've used this bolster as reference. The hands come down towards your butt. Your feet are out in front of you, like so. And you think about your back as a staff, pretty much a straight line. And though it doesn't look like there's a lot going on there, this is there is a decent amount happening with this pose. So I am now in staff pose, and this is where we'll begin. And it's just going to be slow breathing from here as we focus in on our practice for today. And I'm just going to inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Again, sitting against a wall can help alleviate some of the pressures of trying to sit upright. And as I said, fairly active in that pose. That is, in many ways, a challenge for me. So we'll begin after the staff pose. Once we've grounded ourselves, we're going to inhale, bring the hands up over my head like so, and exhale into a forward fold. So we're doing a front bend for legs out in front of us, reaching towards my toes. You can grab your own ankles. You can bring your hands to the floor, whatever your preference is on that. And we want to focus in on the breath work here. As I inhale, drawing in energy. As I exhale, looking to get deeper into the stretch, if that's comfortable for you. You don't want to overexert yourself. But one of the aspects of yoga is on these sort of contractions as you extend, fold, things like that. Exhaling is typically recommended because you're able to get, in general, a deeper into the pose. Inhale, exhale. Again, focusing on your own comfort level. My flexibility is not necessarily where it needs to. Is not exactly where I prefer it to be, but everyone's got their own body, and listen to it. I'm going to inhale, come back up into staff pose, and we're just going to hold staff pose once more. Focus on the breath work. Now, I'm going to bring my right foot towards my left knee, and I'll actually turn the body just a bit, and I'm going to inhale, bring my hands straight up, exhale, bring my head towards my knee, and a head to knee stretch. Again, as I said, flexibility is not necessarily my strong point for someone participating in this practice, but the closer your head is to your knee, generally the better, but again, stretch to your own comfort. Exhale, coming back up. Switching the legs, so now the left foot comes to the right knee. Right hand comes up. Exhale into a head to knee pose. And again, on your exhales as you're breathing here, looking for a deeper stretch if that's a part of your practice. Inhale, come back up to center. I'm going to go from seated into easy sit, half lotus, your preference. And we're going to continue with this focus on the back and posture here. And I'm going to go into a seated spinal twist. My right hand will come to my left knee. I'm looking towards my left shoulder. And just twisting at the spine. I have my left hand behind me for support. And we're just easing into today's practice. Inhale, come back into my seated position. Again, focusing on spine, keeping it straight. Left hand's coming up and over to my right knee. Right hand's coming back for support. And I'm doing a spinal twist from here, looking towards my right shoulder. I'm going to inhale, come back to center. One more time. Bring my hands down to my feet. I'm going to exhale into a bound angle, seated bound. Just continue to get a stretch from here. All right. We're going to inhale, come back up, and I'm going to make my way up into standing position in your own time. We're going to be in mountain pose. Inhale, bring the hands over the head, like so. Exhale, overhead stretch to the left. Exhale, coming back, inhale, coming back to center. I'm going to exhale, overhead stretch to the right. Inhale, we're back to center. Exhale, bring your hands back to mountain pose, and we're just going to take a few beats here to breathe. So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Once more, we're going to inhale, bring the hands overhead, exhale into a forward fold. Inhale into a half lift. And from here, from this half lift, on the exhale, instead of going into a forward fold, I'm going to drop the hips. I'm going into garland. So I've got a squat, bring my butt low towards the mat. I'm personally on my toes for this pose. There's different variations. Sit back to the heel. That's a struggle for me often, so I do tend to sort of cheat forward on the toes. But I'm in my garland pose, hands at prayer. And I'm just taking a moment here. And if it helps for balance, you can have your hands down to the side in front of you, almost like a modified crow. We're going to inhale, come back up, standing into mountain. Inhale, the hands come up, overhead stretch. Exhale into a forward fold. Inhale into a half lift. Exhale back into a forward fold, and we're going to go into a ragdoll from here. Hands come to the elbows. And for this one, I'm focusing on getting a little bit of movement here, a little bit of a sway. Really digging into the stretch. I'm comfortable preparing myself for the next phase of our practice. Knees are slightly bent. I'm going to inhale, come back up into my mountain pose. And again, taking a beat here to breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And we're going to inhale. Bring our hands up towards the ceiling. Exhale, drop into a chair pose. So again, squat at the butt, knees are bent, hand over head, facing forward, keeping the chest open. On an exhale, I'm going to take my hand to a prayer position, and I'm just going to bring my right elbow outside of my left knee, and I'm now in a twist from chair pose. Inhale, back into my chair pose, the hands overhead. Exhale, left elbow comes to the right knee. Once more, we're going to twist. Inhale, coming back into a mountain pose. From mountain, I'm going to bring my arms out, like so. Get a wide stance with my legs. I'm going to turn my mat, actually. Working in limited space here. So, I've got my legs spread out wide, my hands out to the side, my head center line, and I'm now in a 5-star pose. And once more, we're going to take a moment here, breathe, again focusing. Just like in our staff pose, the back is in a straight line. Going to inhale, bring my hands overhead. Exhale, drop into a fold in this intense leg stretch pose. So, my head's hanging just like I was in a ragdoll. My hands are touching the mat. My legs are wide. If it helps, getting a slight bend in the leg can help alleviate pressure on the knees. From here, I'm going to inhale, and I'm back up into this wide stance. I'm going to now take my left foot and just turn it slightly. So right now, both my feet are parallel facing the short side of my mat. I'm turning my left foot out towards the long end of my mat. Bring my left hand down to my foot or the floor, which are more comfortable to you. Bring my right hand up like so, and I'm in an extended triangle position. inhale, bring myself back up. Once more, I'm just in my wide stance. In my wide stance. And I'm now turning the right foot towards the long end of my mat, keeping the left foot straight. So now my feet are perpendicular. Right hand comes down to the mat or my foot. Left hand comes up towards the ceiling. Once more, I'm in an extended triangle. And again, I like to get a bend at the knee, sort of help alleviate some of the pressure while I'm in this pose. Exhale, come back to center. I'm going to turn both my feet back so that they're parallel. Going into a 5-star pose once more. Taking a beat in this pose to just breathe. We're going to inhale, bring both hands overhead. Exhale, drop into that wide fold that we saw earlier. Inhale, back up. I'm going to reset my feet into a mountain pose. Once more. Inhale, hands come overhead. Exhale, leaning to the left. Inhale, center, hands still overhead. Exhale, leaning to the right on an overhead stretch. Exhale, come back in the mountain pose. So just taking a moment here. I'm going to inhale, bring my hand overhead. Exhale, go into a forward fold. Inhale, into a half lift. And once more, exhale, into garland pose. Really feeling that squat, that stretch. Inhale, back right into mountain. Inhale, hand comes up, an overhead stretch. Exhale, dropping into a chair pose. Bringing my hands to prayer center, right elbow to left knee. I'm in a twist from chair pose. Inhale, coming back up in the chair pose, standard. Exhale, bring your hand to heart center. Left elbow comes to right knee. I'm in a twist from chair pose. Inhale. Just going to bring ourselves back to mountain. All right, from here, we're going to inhale, overhead stretch. Exhale to a forward fold. Inhale, half lift. We're going to Exhale, walk our feet back to a high plank. Drop into a low plank. Inhale into a cobra. That should feel really good right about now. If cobra is too intense for you, I do always recommend like a Sphinx variation. I'm going to exhale, put myself in downward facing dog. And then on the inhale, bring myself into child's pose. Drawing back towards the buttocks, head resting on the mat, arms outstretched. To finish off today's practice, I'm going right back in. Make your way to a staff pose. We'll hold this for a second. Just get some breath work in. You know. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. All right, very good. We're going to close out today's session as we typically do, going into Shavasana or corpse pose. So lay back, your feet about shoulder width apart, hands out to your side, and we're just going to lay here for the next few moments, meditating. Focusing on our breathing. If you need any point to kind of focus on, try to bring the belly button towards the spine. Just taking a moment here to breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good stuff today. A lot of the focus today was on posture, on, you know, maintaining a straight spine in poses. Getting something that let's just call it out, personally struggle with. So it's just a work in progress for me. Inhale, exhale, inhale, continue to focus on the breathing as you just relax into your corpse pose. Just going to inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Alright, you can begin to make your way back up into a hero's pose. Once more, thank you for joining me today. Again, like I mentioned, today's focus was mostly on, just posture, keeping straight back in certain poses, getting a good stretch. And I want to say thank you once again for hitting your mat, getting out there and continuing your practice. Joining me, my lesson today. I appreciate you, taking time out for yourself. And, utilizing, I guess, my teaching for that. So, thank you. Have a great day. I'm Reggie Parker.